From 1959 to 1962, China experienced the unprecedented Great Famine, during which at least 36 million Chinese people died of starvation. The CCP claimed it was a 3-year natural disaster, but in fact, it was the inevitable result of a series of policies, such as the People's Commune and the Great Leap Forward, which violated economic laws. According to weather records, China had favorable weather conditions during these 3 years. Since 1954, when the CCP instituted unified purchasing and marketing, sporadic starvation deaths of peasants began to occur throughout the country. After the People's Commune and the Great Leap Forward started in 1958, starvation deaths became widespread. During the Great Famine, more than 1.05 million people died of starvation in the Xinjiang area of Henan province, known as the Granary of Southern Henan. In 1958, the actual annual grain output of the Xinjiang area was only 3 billion kilograms, but the province issued a requisition for 7.2 billion kilograms. Eventually, even the farmers' seed grains and fodder were requisitioned, leaving them to feed themselves with wild greens and tree bark. Peasants fleeing for their lives were treated by the CCP as class enemies and outlaws. Checkpoints were set up all over the region, and in the winter of 1958 alone, more than 460,000 people were stopped and taken into custody. Sichuan's Xinjiang County record documents that between 1959 and 1962, more than 34,000 people died of starvation in the area, accounting for more than 53% of the total population. In the Gansu Jiuquan farms, only 500 of the 4,000 brightest detained for labor reform had survived by the end of 1960. The 5 provinces of Henan, Anhui, Shandong, Sichuan, and Gansu, which were major grain-producing provinces, became the areas with the largest number of starvation deaths, especially in Sichuan, where 12.5 million people died of starvation. During the Great Famine, the CCP refused all international aid, including that offered by the Taiwan Republican government, the US, the Soviet Union, the International Red Cross, and others. At the same time, the CCP increased food exports and foreign aid. According to CCP historical records, in 1958 and 1959 alone, the CCP exported 7 million tons of grain, not including meat, cooking oil, and other non-staple foods. From 1959 to 1961, in order to show the world the achievements of communism, the CCP exported 4.74 million tons of grain cheaply to the Soviet Union, and its Eastern European allies, gave 3.5 million pounds in cash to Hungary, and provided East Germany with 500 billion rubles worth of food. Even during the starvation period, the CCP did not stop its evil activities, that purchased gold for strategic reserves, and also developed atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs. The Guizhou Motai factory consumed 11,300 tons of grain between 1959 and 1961 to produce 2,079 tons of motai for the enjoyment of the CCP's top brass. The CCP also spent huge sums of money to build 61 luxury palaces for Mao, including the Deshui Cave and the Zijiao Hotel in Shanghai. Yang Zhuan, a former senior correspondent of the Xinhua news agency, recorded in his book Tombstone that during the Great Famine, at least 36 million people died of starvation in China, and the number of births was about 40 million less than expected.